Other stuff, some stuff that he think I don't know about. He think he got one up on me. I don't know. He think he got a move somewhere. I told him.
The boxing world has been shaken to its core as reports emerge that Tank Davis has been placed in federal remand over allegations of match fixing in his controversial bout against Lamont Roach Jr. Just days after rumors of a potential investigation began to surface, the situation has escalated dramatically, casting a shadow over the sport.
Commission gets this right. It was a bummer not being declared the winner on a technicality that can be righted. That wrong can be righted. Obviously, in different ways.
Reports suggest that referee Steve Willis has provided crucial information supporting claims that Tank Davis's fight against Lamont Roach Jr. was manipulated. Fans and analysts had already questioned how the bout ended in a majority draw despite Roach appearing to do enough to win. Now, with federal authorities involved, those suspicions seem more justified.
I think Lamont Roach, I think he landed more punches throughout the fight. I think Tank was used to, figuring it out, having that slow start, figuring it out around the third, fourth round. And I think
From the moment the final bell rang, controversy surrounded the result, as many believed Roach had done enough to win after outworking Davis in several rounds. However, the ninth round became the focal point of suspicion. Davis, unexpectedly, took a knee mid-action, prompting referee Steve Willis to begin a count before abruptly waving it off and ruling it was not a knockdown. That single decision altered the fight's outcome. Had Willis counted it as a knockdown, Roach would have won the round 10-8, potentially securing a victory on the scorecards. Instead, with the call favoring Davis, the fight ended in a draw, leaving Roach stunned and fans outraged.
What's your thoughts when you first heard that?
That they wasn't overturning it?
Yeah.
I mean, I expected that. I don't really see them doing that. Tank is too big of an attraction. New York.
Davis's explanation for taking a knee was baffling. He claimed that his freshly greased hair mixed with sweat and burned his eyes, forcing him to kneel. Fans widely mocked the excuse, calling it one of the most ridiculous they had ever heard, while critics pointed out that fighters endure sweat and blood in their eyes all the time without dropping to a knee. Roach was furious after the fight, stating, "If you take a knee, that's a knockdown. That's just the rules. The ref started counting, so why did he stop? They stole this from me." His team quickly filed an official complaint with the New York State Athletic Commission, demanding a full review of the fight and its officiating. But the controversy didn't end there.
You take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules.
What made matters worse was a chilling comment Davis reportedly made to Roach on fight night, telling him, "They aren't going to give it to you." At the time, many assumed he was referring to the usual boxing politics, where the A-side fighter gets the benefit of the doubt. However, in light of the match-fixing allegations, that statement has taken on a far more sinister meaning. Did Davis already know the outcome before the fight even began? Was the result predetermined? These questions have now ignited a full-blown federal investigation.
So to me, I thought I won the fight clearly. I thought I won a close fight. I thought I won a very competitive fight.
Okay.
I'm not saying I steamrolled him or whatever.
The federal investigation gained momentum after Roach's legal team enlisted high-profile attorneys who pushed for a deeper probe into the fight's outcome. They highlighted suspicious betting activity, noting an unusual surge of wagers on a draw, one of the rarest results in boxing, which immediately raised red flags. Investigators began examining whether insiders had leaked information to bettors who knew in advance how the fight would end. Then came the biggest bombshell, the revelation that referee Steve Willis had provided key information to authorities, further fueling
It should have been a knockdown, one. So that's why I'm yelling at the referee, like, keep counting, like, you tripping, keep counting, that's a knockdown. Because if y'all didn't notice, he started to count.
While the full details remain undisclosed, sources indicate that referee Steve Willis confirmed external influences affected his decisions during the fight. A revelation significant enough for federal agents to take action against Davis. The arrests have shocked the boxing world, And for Davis, who has faced legal troubles before, this could be the most serious situation of his career.
Wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming there to fight.
If the allegations are proven true, Davis could not only face a suspension from boxing, but also criminal charges that might put him behind bars. Boxing insiders are already debating the impact on his career. Some see this as the beginning of the end, while others believe his promotional team, led by Al Heyman and Premier Boxing champions, will do everything possible to protect him and keep him fighting. However, even if he escapes legal consequences, the damage to his reputation.
Like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like it's time to show up. So it wasn't really hard for me to focus because all I had to do was
Social media has erupted with reactions to the news, as fighters and boxing personalities weigh in on the controversy. Devin Haney, one of Davis's biggest rivals, wasted no time mocking him, posting, "Damn, first he fakes injuries to duck fights, now he's fixing fights. Ain't no way y'all still rocking with this dude." Longtime Davis critic Oscar De La Hoya tweeted, "I've been saying it for years, Tank is protected, the truth always comes out." Even veteran boxing analyst Teddy Atlas, known for his no-nonsense takes, called the situation a disgrace to the sport.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw the negativity and people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter. I think he's still there.
To make matters worse, Davis's name has been removed from several boxing rankings, with Ring Magazine officially dropping him from their pound-for-pound list and replacing him with David Benavidez. The backlash is already impacting his career, and if the investigation uncovers further evidence, the consequences could be even more severe. There is growing speculation that the New York State Athletic Commission may revisit the fight and potentially void the result entirely, which could lead to Roach being declared the rightful winner. If that happens, Davis wouldn't just lose his status as one of boxing's top fighters. He could also see his championship belt
reverse the
stripped
result
away.
of your fight.
yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
It just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? Keep the
As
integrity
Davis
of me, right?
remains in remand awaiting his next legal hearing, the biggest question is whether he can fight his way out of this, or if this marks the end of his career. If the feds have enough evidence to charge him with match fixing, he could be facing not just a ban from boxing, but actual jail time. Some are already comparing this to past boxing scandals, drawing parallels to Floyd Mayweather, who was accused of influencing judges and referees throughout his career. However, while Mayweather was never caught in anything this serious, Davis may not be so fortunate. If the allegations hold, he could go down as the biggest scandal in modern boxing history.
He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning, and when I feel like
Gervonta Davis is in deeper trouble than anyone expected, and the boxing world is now divided on whether he can recover or if his career is permanently damaged. One of his past opponents, Rolando Romero, believes Davis can turn things around in a rematch, but his comments have sparked controversy. Speaking to The Ring, Romero claimed Davis has the ability to adjust and win next time, adding that Roach's performance was so surprising that even Roach himself might not have expected it. That statement raised eyebrows. Was Romero implying that Roach got lucky? Because if there's one thing the boxing world agrees on, it's that Roach was the better man that night. It wasn't luck,
Lost that
and it
fight.
wasn't a fluke.
I mean, the only reason they gave
Yeah.
you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion. But there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost.
Roach outboxed Davis and would have won if not for the questionable officiating. But with Davis now under federal investigation for match fixing, Romero's comments take on an even deeper meaning. His description of Roach's performance made it sound like a once-in-a-lifetime showing, something Roach could never replicate. But was it really? Roach didn't just land a few lucky punches. He controlled large portions of the fight, made Davis uncomfortable, and exposed weaknesses that had never truly been tested before. Romero's attempt to downplay that could be his way of protecting his own loss to Davis. After all, if Roach, a fighter never considered elite, was able to give Davis this much trouble, what does that say about Romero, who was knocked out by Davis in the 6th round of their 2022 fight?
People want to discredit Tango. He's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was an off night?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Sure, I don't know. Proof.
Even more controversial was Romero's take on the knee incident, stating, "None of the punches hit him," when discussing Davis's bizarre decision to kneel mid-fight. That's a damning statement, especially since Davis claimed he went down due to sweat dripping into his eyes. If a fellow boxer openly says no punches landed, then why did Davis go down at all? That question remains unanswered, just like why the referee began counting only to suddenly stop. Even Romero acknowledged that if the knee had been ruled a knockdown, Davis would have lost, highlighting how crucial that single moment was in determining the fight's outcome. But let's be real. Something about that entire sequence
being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation for me. Like, there's a lot of people in boxing.
What Romero didn't say is just as telling as what he did. He avoided addressing the fact that Davis is now at the center of a federal investigation for fight fixing. He ignored Davis's alleged pre-fight comment to Roach, "They aren't going to give it to you," and sidestepped the growing speculation that unusual betting patterns on a draw were more than just coincidence. Instead, he focused on the idea that Davis simply had a tough night and would make adjustments. But with Davis potentially facing criminal charges, how can he even think about a rematch? That's the real question.
See who it is. Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
And that right there.
Ryan Garcia, another past opponent of Davis, weighed in on the rematch discussion, telling ES News that he believes Davis will win the second fight, claiming Tank simply underestimated Roach and expected him to fold. But that raises an even bigger question. Why did Davis expect Roach to fold? Most likely because he knew something the rest of us didn't. If Davis went into the fight believing the decision would already favor him, it would explain why he lacked urgency and why his preparation may have been different. And that's exactly what played out in the ring. Davis fought like he had nothing to worry about, didn't take Roach seriously, and looked confused when Roach kept pressing forward. It was one of the worst performances of his career, and Garcia's claim that he was simply caught off guard doesn't fully explain.
Think it was a draw? No. Who's gonna win? Lamont. Not gonna win? How many rounds? I don't know. You still want the same Davis fight?
What makes this even messier is the $250K bet Roach and Davis made before the fight, with Davis wagering that he would knock Roach out. But when the fight ended in a draw, it remained unclear whether Davis ever paid up. If he hasn't, that adds another layer to the controversy. Davis was willing to gamble 6 figures on an outcome that didn't happen, despite allegedly having inside knowledge of how the fight would go, raising massive red flags. And if he truly believed he was going to get the knockout, why did he fight with so little urgency? Why did he take a knee? None of it adds up, unless you start looking at the bigger picture.